Another, this one here really do it for you.
Baby, I'm either for you. Yeah, baby, I'm either for you. If it come down to that for you, let me show you how I pull that for you.
Welcome everyone to the Floor is Yours podcast. We are at it again. We are here to talk about the things that you want to talk about. My name is Gregory McKinney. I am your personal relationship and life coach, and I am here once again with the incomparable, my dude, one of the best guys you'll ever meet, Mr. Gerard's in the house. How you feeling today, brother?
I was ready to start talking, man. Hey, appreciate the great welcome, man. Welcome out there and Facebook and YouTube land. We sorry for the delay. You know how it goes. Everything's good with technology when it works well, but when it's not, it's a bummer. But here we are. Like you said,
hey, good things come to those who wait. You know,
no question,
so for
man.
those of y'all that for those of y'all that waited for us, we really appreciate it, and we came to bring it. Hey, but before we go any further, we want to ask everyone to like and to share this video. Tonight is going to be another fire night. We're going to be asking the question, can you be friends with your ex? I'm telling you, we're going to get deep. It's going to get deep. We're going to talk about some of the pros and some of the cons. And so if you know somebody, and I'm sure that you do, who is kind of in a situationship or has a relationship status where they say it's complicated, share this with them, because we're going to talk about why you should be or why you shouldn't be friends with your ex. And so I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to tonight's discussion. How about you, Gerard?
Yeah, that's it. I like that you said whether you should or you shouldn't. You know, a lot of times we got these hard absolutes, answers to some of the most challenging discussions like this. And a lot of them, Gregory, are based off of our own experiences, and we'll take our experiences and our expectations to our new, whether it's a relationship or even if we're just single. Sometimes it's not about being in a relationship. I might be single and just like, hey, should I be friends with my ex? And again, those hard absolutes, I think sometimes we need to be challenged and consider different perspectives. So that's what we want to do. And I'm glad you brought it up, because it's not a hard yes or no. But I think with a lot of things we don't consider, like the like how to unpack that and what that looks like in different perspectives, right?
Yeah, 1000%. You know, relationships are not a one size fits all. It can be complicated.
Yeah.
You know, especially if there's children involved, it depends on how you two broke up. Why are you exes? You know, it's a lot of things that are at play. And I think that we sometimes serve ourselves well if we stay friends with someone who knows us well. So just because they're your ex doesn't mean you got to discard them. But if this person knows you, they may be able to help you out along the way.
Yeah. So how about we're going to go to this video, let the video play. You're going to offer a different perspective, because it even challenged my own thinking. Not that I was for or against it, but he did give me some other considerations. So I'm going to play this video. And after the video, we'll come back and continue the discussion.
Stay friends with your ex.
Oh, two things that come to mind. The first is emotional maturity, and the second is romantic clarity. So emotional maturity is, does that person have the ability to see you with someone else and not be envious? Does that person have the ability to let you become who you're meant to be and not hold you back with who you were with them?
Oh, wow.
Does that person have the ability to respect that you're changing and transforming, or are they trying to keep you the same? And vice versa.
Yeah.
And then the second part, the romantic clarity, are we both sure that we're not just sticking around because there might be another chance?
Oh.
Are we both clear that there's a safe boundary here? Are we both honest and transparent enough to say we truly want a friendship with mutual respect, or the moment I can break your boundary, I will? And so to me, the answer is yes and no, because it all depends on whether we have emotional maturity and romantic clarity.
Yeah.
Man, that last
Wow.
part you said, people just sticking around because I might get another chance.
Yeah.
Did we lose you, Gregory? I think your video went out.
He said that so well. I don't think anyone could say it even better than what was just said. But he began with emotional security, right? And so a lot of times we hang out with people because they are our security blanket.
Yeah, that's true. And that I mean, it seems like so immature or either elementary. But I think when you think about can you hear me? I think Gregory, are you good? Okay, he's coming back. So we're gonna let Gregory work on his video and then he'll come back in. But let me do that real quick. So while we're working on that, and again, sorry for the issues with the audio and the video, but the comments, make sure y'all keep the comments coming. We're gonna make sure we get to each and every one of them. But as the guy stated in the video, sometimes people are standing around to see if there's a chance for them, what's the saying now, to spin the block. And it's kind of deceptive if you think about it, because someone may be in this for a genuine friendship, but here it is, someone is really lying in wait. And if that person is lying in wait, I think it's something that we got to really consider. Like, what are the motives? Are they really trying to be a friend to you, or are they doing what the guy talked about in the video, well, lying in wait and trying to spin the block so they can come back and hope that they get another chance with you? So, those are some of the conversations that you're going to have. So, Gregory, I know you was having a couple issues with the video, with your audio, but I was just telling them what the guy talked about is the motive. At the end is like, what is your reason for hanging around? Is it really to be a friend, or are you lying in wait, hoping to spin the block and get another shot at this?
Yeah, yeah. And it could be a combination of both, right? Because if you had some type of romantic interest in someone, it doesn't necessarily just end just because the relationship end. And so it could be some lingering, a friend of mine, we call it embers, when you put a fire out and there's still some spark there, and we ask each other,
Yeah,
are there still some embers there? So it's a possibility. It could be both. I think that a lot of people who know they lost a good thing do like to hang around so that they can get back in that person's good graces. Um, Listen, sometimes you can learn the lesson too late, and sometimes the person has told you 10, 15 times, I needed this in a relationship, and you didn't do it. And then when they set their hard boundaries and then they're gone, now all of a sudden, now you want me back because you didn't take care of me when you had me, but now that I'm gone, now you want me back. And so that makes a friendship hard because it is selfish. You're not there to pour into the person. And so if a person is looking to just to hang around just so they can have another shot, it's not
yeah,
worth it because that person has an ulterior motive with them. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. I like this comment right here from Kiki. And again, out there, keep the comments coming, and we're going to make sure we get to as many of them. But Kiki said it depends on why they became your ex. And I think I don't think he's saying that's the linchpin that makes the decision, but that's a huge consideration. Why did that person become an ex anyway? So I mean, if they betrayed you, if they hurt you, not saying that you can't forgive them, and we've talked about this in past episodes and topics. Just because you forgive someone don't mean that you need to reconcile that friendship or that relationship or whatever it is. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I think Tupac said it best. He said, just because I don't want you to eat at my table doesn't mean I don't want you to eat.
Oh,
I you just can't be with me anymore. And depending on, and a lot of people have this, they have different ways of measuring what's forgivable.
mhm.
So what I may forgive, you may not forgive, and vice versa. And so what's important is to know what can you look yourself in the mirror and still respect the person that you see. And so if you
Mhm.
can look at yourself in the mirror and respect the person that you see, then I think a lot of things are forgivable. I've seen many couples get over infidelity, financial infidelity, and still come back and rebound because the person sincerely wanted to change. And
Yeah.
so I think a lot of things are forgivable, but we live in a society now where people don't believe in second chances
Yeah,
often.
yeah,
One
yeah.
one strike and you're out.
But the thing is, we're dealing with so much trauma anyway, and the idea of someone coming in and adding to what's already a troublesome life, and I get it. But hey, let's get into another part of it. We talk about our own perspective. If I'm in a relationship and an ex still wants to be and be a friend to me, and it may be a true friendship, but now I'm going to the other relationship, and the person I'm in a relationship with is uneasy with it. And I was talking to a friend earlier, and she made it just like simple as black and white and cut and dry. She said you got to pick a lane. If your new mate is not easy with it and they don't like it, if you want to be in that relationship, then maybe you got to cut off that friendship. I mean, is it that simple in that
I,
circumstance?
I agree with your friend. I do think that you can't be friends with an ex and in a new relationship. I think it just causes too much complication. Even if you and your ex have agreed to be strictly platonic, that new person is going to feel some insecurities, and rightfully so, because this person got to know you on a deeper level, and it's unfair for your new person to share secrets and intimate details with somebody else. So I totally agree. You do have to pick a lane. You
Yeah.
can't be friends with your ex if you're in a new relationship.
I think a good thing to bring up because you made me think about like what are you doing with the old friend? So I guess
hmm
we should define what that friendship is and what it looks like, right? And what are the
hmm
expectations of it. Because some people are friends, and me and you, we're friends. We don't talk daily, and
hmm
of course we're same gender, so that's a little different. But
hmm
I'm friends with some exes, and we don't cross the boundaries. And they've had relationships, and we respectfully adhere to those necessary boundaries. So I know you deal a lot with men and emotional maturity,
hmm
and I know a lot of it is in the confines of after something has happened, like
Yeah.
we're having to fix this thing. So in those
Yeah.
circumstances, I can absolutely agree with you. But also, reason why I'm pushing back on that a little bit, and on that thinking a little bit is, we're in our 30s and 40s and some people 50s, and you got lifelong friends, people that
Yeah.
you do bonds with for years, and now you meet somebody else. Are you really expecting that person to end their friendships, genuine friendships, because now they're ex, because now I'm dating in a relationship with somebody else?
That really depends on what you want more. What do you want most? Do you want the friendship or do you want the relationship? And which one do you put the greater value on? In a relationship that I had, um, this person did not like that I was Facebook friends with ex-girlfriends. And when she found that out, she expressed how uncomfortable that was. I immediately blocked, not just unfollowed, unfriend, but I blocked all of my exes on social media. So there's no ex that follows me on social media right now because that one ex was insecure about it, or just didn't. I wouldn't say insecure, but just didn't like it. And the reason why I did that and had no problems doing it was because I wanted the relationship with my girlfriend more than I wanted the relationship with my exes. And so it comes down to which one do you want more? Which one
Yeah.
do you want more?
Well,
I
yeah.
Go ahead.
So in that instance, so now because you're saying that's an ex now.
Yeah,
So essentially, if I'm understanding right, you ended some relationships with some
yep,
acquaintances and friendships, and
yep.
now you're not even with the person
That's
that
right.
you ended them with.
That's
So
right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
that for me, that's something that again, for me, again, when I'm moving in life, whether it's friendships, relationships, partnerships, any of them, I'm looking for mature-minded people because
Right.
I think the stakes are so high. I don't have the luxury of keep hitting the reset button over and over and over again. So when I'm bringing people in my circle, I'm specific with or I'm explicit with my ask and all that. Now, I'm not saying that everything is set in stone, but insecurities, especially some from a past relationship, is a burden that I choose not to carry from somebody
hmm
else. So
hmm
that's kind of why I don't. Again, I'm not saying it's a right or wrong on each other thing.
Right.
You have to pick a lane, but for me, I've done that in the past where I've ended friendships for a relationship, and that relationship didn't last. And then
Right.
now I got pie on my face, and I have to eat crow because I'm going back to these people who genuinely cared about me, and
Yeah.
I knows that.
Well, the thing is, how those past relationships serving you? Those ex-girlfriends of mine, we were just really Facebook friends. There was little to no
Yeah,
interaction other than just a like
yeah.
or two, a
That's
happy
why I said a
birthday.
friend, not just somebody that I just know, but an actual
Oh,
friend.
well, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
the actual friend, that is a different layer. Yeah.
yeah,
I would question if that person, as you were saying, is mature enough to handle a relationship. If like this has just been a friend of mine for 5, 10 years and now you're insecure, that would cause me to question. I gotta tell you though, Gerard, I don't like my woman having a lot of guy friends.
a
I'm
lot.
one. I'm a lot. Like if you have one, like you've had a homeboy that you grew up with, like y'all went to the same middle school, high school. Y'all know each other's parents, that kind of thing. Y'all just grew up together. That's cool. But like her making new friends,
Yeah,
I don't,
yeah,
I don't, I don't know if I would like that. Yeah.
yeah. And I think again, what Kiki said earlier on this right here, it is why you became an ex. You heard the saying that sometimes people are better friends than they were um, in a relationship. As lovers, and that's been the experience of mine. So my perspective is such that I can see how people can be friends, and there's generally no intimacy involved there. So
It's totally possible. I think it just gets complicated if intimacy enters the picture. So I do think men and women can be friends, and
yeah,
nothing else more than that. But I
yeah,
do think it's extremely difficult to remain friends after there is intimacy involved,
yeah.
and to move forward and to start dating other people, it gets complicated. It
Yeah,
really
you're gonna run
does.
out of people to be friends and in a relationship with after a while. But hey, let's get to some of these comments, man. There's a lot, and we want to get to them before we move on to the next topic. Some of our regulars are Tamika. Appreciate the tuning in. She said, "Great evening." Our good friend Monetta, Monetta. She says hello.
Yeah. Hey, Monetta.
Oh, Ivory, the conscious creator. She ain't in today. Wish she was part of the discussion, but I did talk to her about it, so I'll share hers and our discussion later on too. So.
Ivory likes to start fights, though.
Yeah, man. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the main reasons I brought her on.
Yeah.
Yeah. My homie from Texarkana, Christy, she got the look in her eyes like, man, she know this is gonna be good. So let's go in. Mia, she says emotional maturity. Woo, that's key, and it is. So a lot of times, what we're dealing with is our perspective based off our experience, and we make these absolute statements based off that. And what I've learned in life, sometimes you just got to consider. And I ain't saying change your mind, but consider other perspectives. Like, man, we can get that tunnel vision and what you said earlier, a selfish way of being, and not considering it's not just me in this relationship. What's important to the other person too, and if she or he has a genuine friend that they care about, I think it's at least worth the discussion. Now, what the guy said, because he even said in the video that we showed that it's yes and no. It depends on the situation, but if it's mature and you set the boundaries up, and there's a genuine level of trust, and I think it's something that can be managed at a mature level.
Well, you also have to be conscious of does this person really have feelings for you and you don't. And I think if you are an emotionally mature person, you will set that person free. You will not answer their phone calls. You will not answer their text messages because you know that if you're giving them a glimmer that there's an opportunity for us to be back together, then I'm only hurting you. I'm
Yeah,
only causing you more pain.
kind of
And
what
so
Tamika was saying here. Are you both clear on the boundaries, right?
right, right, right. Because one person could still be, carrying a torch for the other person. And even if you consider yourself to be nice, and I find this when have spoken to a lot of women, and they will say, well, I'm just being nice. I just wished him a happy birthday. I just said happy Thanksgiving. I just, asked about his mom and that kind of thing. Well, what you're doing is offering him, crumbs, and he's going to eventually want the full meal. And so you got to let them go completely. You got to have at least no contact for at least 30 to 60 days after a breakup.
And
No
I like how
contact.
intentional you're needing to be so you can understand what the truth is. But again, I'll say this.
Mhm.
My years in the military, one thing that I was able to do is manage and regulate my emotions. Now,
Mhm.
what I show is not necessarily what I'm feeling. So when I talk about emotional maturity and emotional regulation, that's what I'm saying. I can care about somebody, but
Mhm.
out of respect for them and their boundaries, and I'm able to manage my interactions with that person because
Mhm.
that's what mature people do. I'm not judged by what I think, but what my behaviors are. So
Mhm.
that's why I think that it can be. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's going to have to be some keeping yourself out of certain situations, and it's going to have to be some serious gut check on some stuff too. But
Yeah,
to your point,
definitely.
I just again I got some lifelong friendships that are meaningful to me, and that those are important, just as important to me as if I get into another relationship.
You know what? Those relationships, Gerard, do bring value as well because I remember speaking to a young lady who, when I was much younger, I was engaged, and the engagement fell through. We didn't get married, but we kept in touch. I kept in touch with her parents and kept in touch with her brothers and that kind of thing. And she had a bit of a rough patch in life, and she reached out to me, and because I knew her so well, she felt really comfortable just laying it all out there. And, I knew her in a way most people didn't. So I was able to say, based on my experience with you, I know that how you react to this, how you react with that. So there can be a lot of benefit to reaching out to someone who knows you that well, but it can get complex if they
Yeah,
become a crutch,
no
if they
question.
become a everyday conversation. You know, an occasional, hey, but yeah, you
Yeah,
have to draw the line somewhere.
just those boundaries that we're talking about. Yeah,
Hmm.
Monique Monetta said that's good. Kiki, he ain't going, man. Kiki said, but the question I ask is why would I still have that much contact if it's over? And again, if it's ended in a bad note, I totally get it. But again,
Yeah,
some people are mature enough to say, like, hey, just because we didn't make it in this
right.
relationship, we don't have to hate each other. And there's some good qualities or whatever. I mean, I think you manage them on a case by case, situation. And also, again, you bring in and I'm talking about for me, for this particular topic that I'm speaking on, is lifelong friends, people that's been
Yeah.
friends 5, 10 years, and they've withstood the test of time longer than your intimate relationship with others since that
Hmm.
friendship started. And man, I know people who have literally ended friendships because of relationship, and that
Hmm.
relationship didn't last. And that's difficult, man.
Yeah, that is. And I would, again, question if I want to be in a relationship with someone who couldn't respect the relationships I've already established.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Candace, appreciate your comment. She said she missed the video. But yeah, so y'all back there out there in the audience, go back and check the video. But Candace, essentially, this guy is telling us that it's two things to consider. One is the emotional maturity, and the second one is romantic clarity. So that's kind of what we're talking about. Hey, what about this one right here, Gregory? I'm
Hmm.
gonna let you take this one, man. I need you to speak on this question right here. Me and my ex share a house. This is my friend Brandon Bill. He said, "Me and my ex share a house, and we are good friends."
Yeah. So here's what I think about that. I do think that it is very possible that that could happen, but reality, you are limiting your growth. You're stunting
Mhm.
your opportunity to move forward. Can you two do that and strictly be friends and support each other? Absolutely, 100%. Can it be nurturing and can it be positive? Yes, yes, and yes. But are you going to be able to really spread your wings and find new love and really reach a new level in life? Absolutely not. Because nobody is going to want to enter into that scenario. So you have this warm cocoon, which is nurturing, which is loving, which is beautiful, but you're not going to be able to break through that cocoon.
Most people, I mean, there might be some outliers, but I bet you it's going to your point, it's going to be the exception and not the rule. That they're going to
Yeah.
find somebody that's going to be okay, and probably the one that's going to be okay with that they're gonna want distance in between you and them anyway. They probably don't want that totally committed, fully, flourishing relationship anyway. So
Yeah, and that's nobody's dream. Like I'm going to find my person, and my person's going to be sharing a home with their ex.
you
That's
don't
not
think
what
so,
people.
man?
No, that's not what I. No.
Hey, Brandon, we need answers, man. Hey, I want to. No, Brandon, we're gonna let you keep the secrets. What that old saying? The walls could talk. The walls could
Yeah.
talk. I wonder what the walls are gonna say in Brandon's situation, right?
Yeah. 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 I mean, there's just a lot of distrust already starting if you meet someone new. Like what do y'all do when y'all by yourselves? Like okay, so you take a shower and you get out the shower and you fully clothed. Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult, but
Yeah.
again, man, not saying it's impossible, but it's gonna take some real maturity and challenges. And to your point, I don't think you're gonna flourish and be the close knit relationship that you could be, because
Mhm.
you're sharing the most intimate spaces with someone else. So
And then let's be honest, if I saw that scenario, I would have to ask, is that your person?
yeah.
Maybe that's the person you're meant to be with. Y'all just not calling yourselves friends, but why are you still living together like that?
Financial situations, it could be a number of things, divorce, who knows? It might be short term, waiting on at least the end. Who knows? It could be a number of things, but yeah, I would love to bring Brandon on here and unpack that one right there, man.
Yeah.
That's something else. Hey, Tarika said back then you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. You all love me. I get it. Yeah. Kiki said if you're still kicking it, the only difference is 2 words: ex and friends. Yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
You're right. Um, can you see the comments?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to take this one from me?
Yeah, sure. First step is to define friendship and what that looks like. I have plenty of friends already. On a serious note, the motive does need to be checked. I think some distance truly needs to be there. You know what? I agree with this one. I think that it becomes harder to be friends with the opposite gender the older we get. Is it possible? Yes, but it comes harder the older you get because you're thinking in the back of your mind, why am I wasting time with just friends? Why am I going bowling with my homeboy when I could actually be going bowling with my man? You know, and then the proximity of time that you're spending with your just friend, emotion could start developing there. And so, defining friendship as you get older, uh, it becomes tricky because we're not looking just to be friends. We're looking to set anchors, set roots. We're looking to build a life. And so sometimes a friendship feels like a waste of time. Is it
Yeah,
possible? Yes, but it gets tricky the older you get.
absolutely, absolutely. Tamika said, I think it requires both sides to be mature and not be in the cut, waiting for that opening. Ivory always talk about spin the block. Yeah, so people trying to lie in the cut and spin that block. Um, yes, Gregory, what you want most is where you should go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
and again, when you're making these decisions, and that's why I think it's important to have this discussion, we got to unpack that thing. Like, are we moving off of something because it's new? It sounds good, it feels good, the flesh, the whole honeymoon stage of a relationship, not marriage, but a relationship. And you're ready to throw it all away, everything else away because of what's new. And I think it's important to consider, like, where am I? Know yourself. Like, am I known for moving fast and falling head over heels for someone initially, and then 5, 6 months later, it's back to business as usual on board, and I'm back and trying to reach out to some of the old friends that I done, kicked to the curb anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And know your love style too. Because say you broke up with an ex and you really do love this person, if you have, because it is a decision to say that I'm going to keep this person in my heart, that I'm not going to allow myself to let them go so I
yeah,
can experience new relationships. You have to understand that you are causing yourself that self-inflicted harm.
that's good. That's good, man. Yeah,
And so
yeah,
if you're going to do that, then just accept that you need to maybe call me or somebody to help you move forward because that's not a healthy way of living.
yeah, yeah. Candace said mature mindsets. Here's IC. She said, did you at least, and what she's saying, did you at least let them know, or did you just block them?
Here's the deal though, and that's funny. I like that. Here's the deal. There's this myth that every time you break up, that there was a villain. There have been many, many relationships that I've been privy to, that I know of, that I've actually been in, where there was no villain. Nobody cheated. No one disrespected. You just saw that you two are growing in different ways, or this wasn't going to be your happily ever after. He wasn't a bad dude. You wasn't, you weren't trash. You both were good people, but it just didn't work out between you two. And so for those people, it tends to be more complicated, because it's easy to block somebody and to not talk to somebody when they've done you dirty. But what if this person was really a good person? And they probably, let's just say, they just weren't ready at the moment. They maybe didn't have the finances together at the time. But in everything else, they checked all the boxes. That's hard to let go. And this person treated you well. Say he treated you, let's say you met a man who treated you like a queen, loved you, was spiritually strong, emotionally mature, but he worked at Taco Bell. He just wasn't there yet.
Yeah, let them bring them tacos home for dinner.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah, but that's when it becomes complicated, because not in every breakup there's not a villain.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Yeah, sometimes you can break up and be okay with it and not hate each other. Yeah, right. Be thankful for not wasting each other's time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like this one right here from Candace. We was talking earlier about projecting your insecurities on someone. So when you're making this decision, it's not based off of your current relationship, but it's based off of what happened to you in the past, which is not necessarily a bad thing. That's knowing yourself and knowing your triggers. But also that may mean that, hey, I need to get over some hurt that I'm carrying. But to this point, and I stated this earlier, no one should have to project their insecurities onto the next person. It's not fair. If I'm carrying some mistrust and it has nothing to do with the person that I'm in a relationship with, I didn't put that burden on them to shoulder. I just think it's unfair. And that's what Candace is saying.
Yeah, that is true. You do have to give yourself time in between relationships. I feel sorry for people that bounce from one bed to another, because you're not healing.
Yeah.
You're just putting one Band-Aid on top of another Band-Aid on top of another Band-Aid, but you're never treating the wound.
And then it's always everybody else's fault, right? At
always.
Some point, you got to look at yourself. I remember TD Jakes did this video. He said sometimes you're just so wrapped up in your trauma that you don't even realize that the problem is you. And again, you end up just jumping from person to person to person, stating what you're needing. And it sounds good. I just need somebody to love me. Oh, okay, here I am. I love you. But then you get in there and realize, like, oh, wow, like you're hurting. And it's not for me to, try to correct that. But, you got some people that feel like they can love the literal hell or the hurt out of somebody. And that's not nothing that makes duty.
Yeah, and that is a real issue for men. Gerard, gosh, I can't tell you the number of men that I have talked to that feel like they have a cape on and they see a damsel in distress and they want to rescue her. I know we get a lot of talk about men being dogs and players, but there are a lot of men out there who see a woman in despair and who is doing bad in life and want to step in and save her, and don't really care about her, but it does something to their ego to be a savior for her. Yeah. So you want to stay away from men with that, dealing with that issue too.
And I know if the women had a voice on this show right now, they'll say men do it too. I mean, women do it too. We save men. So let's put it out.
Not talking about women tonight though.
Yeah. Hey, Sharon, appreciate you. She said great topic. Appreciate you for tuning in. Oh, I owe her a book. She was a winner of one of your books too, man. I'm so glad that I see this. Sharon, I will get your book mailed out. Give me a couple days. I'm traveling this weekend, but I'll get Gregory's book mailed out to you. Your book, Emotional Maturity, right?
Yeah, Emotional Intelligence for Men.
Intelligence for Men. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Cool. We also find ourselves in this cycle of predictability. One of the comforts of an ex is they're predictable. You know their likes, their dislikes, and so you know what to expect. And so, is it better to trust the devil that you know, the devil that you don't know? And so
Yeah.
a lot of times people are like, so um, what if you're a 45-year-old single mother with three kids? At least you know Fred likes you. You know Fred will take you out, and Fred likes to be around you. But I'm a 45-year-old single mother with three kids. How much market value do I have? I know Fred is secure. I know Fred is predictable. So why don't I just stay with Fred? And
Yeah.
so that's another reason why people stay
Yeah.
with their exes, because they know what
Yeah.
to expect.
Yeah, and it depends on the issue. We always say that it depends, but in a sense, it really does. Because
Yeah.
sometimes people are breaking up for the most minute, petty reasons.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this in our society. We don't think that we should suffer. We don't think that we should have inconveniences. And if we ain't getting our way, or if you ain't growing me, I see these posts all the time. Like, if you ain't paying my bills, or if you ain't, whatever
Stop,
it is. That's,
yeah.
yeah,
Stop
that's
talking
making
about
me.
Ivory like that, man. That's not
No,
fair.
no, man. I don't. None of the people on the podcast. Yeah. But it's that whole mindset is like, is it worth identifying what the challenge is, and is it worth working through it? And if it is, do the work. We had Dr. Troy on here a couple months ago, and he talked about it as he's working with some of his clients. People that do the work, when they put the work in, it shows. My daughter's on here, and I'm gonna get to some of her comments early, and that's one of the things I talked to her about as she was younger and in school, is that when you put the work in and study, it's going to show in your output when it's come time to take the test. So my point is, instead of starting over all the time, or wherever you see the challenge is, in that instance, Fred is familiar. Is it worth putting in the work to at least see if we can overcome whatever our challenges is? And sometimes we find out that the challenges is really interior, inside, and it's not with Fred or whoever the other person is. So
I agree with you wholeheartedly, because sometimes the goal isn't the destination; it's who you can become while getting to the destination. Yeah.
If not, we're gonna be jumping ship so much, man. So yeah, let's plant the flag sometime. Appreciate the comment, Nisha, watching from Facebook. From YouTube. Nisha said, "True friendships may just need adjusting, level set expectations and boundaries." She sounds like she's in it from a business aspect. Level set expectations and boundaries. But she's right. If it's a true friendship, and one of you are in a relationship, or both you are in a relationship, I hear people saying all the time, bring them around, let your mate meet them, let your mate become comfortable and understand, who this person is. But yeah, if it's a friendship that's, you keeping a secret and never bring them around, I could see the discomfort or the uneasiness with that too. So yeah, might need to adjust the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Christy said wrong. So wrong. Here's my daughter Kayla. Appreciate you. Says it's going to be a no for me. Again, some people got those hard nose and draw the line in the sand, and they know them and what they can deal with. And instead of trying to get in a relationship and change while you're in it, know who you are and don't even get it started.
People that are like that with the hard nose, and I respect that, and I got a great appreciation for people who stick up for themselves. I also challenge them with this. Everybody comes into your life as a teacher. That's a hard no for you, but what did they teach you? Okay, so you're just taking that person completely out of your life. But who were you in that moment that made you choose that person in the first place? Did you go back and did you tweak yourself? Because if this person was so horrible and so terrible that it's a hard no, well, what drew you to that person in the first place? And have you dealt with those issues inside of you? And so sometimes the issue is not getting rid of that person out of your life, it's getting rid of those character traits you had inside of you
that drew that person. And you're like, well, allow him. And sometimes, not victim blaming, but sometimes people are deceptive and they can get in your life and pull their wool over your eyes. So we know that there's that part too. So yeah, there's some bad people, and when they're ex for a reason, and Kiki talked about that earlier. Like, why am I still even talking to you?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you said it. Kayla said, "Hey, Dad. Hey, Kayla. Appreciate you watching, sweetheart." So Mia, this is a good one right here. And if they have a problem with me meeting their friends, that's an issue for me too. You
Yeah,
know, yeah.
that's a huge, yeah.
And that's the thing, man. When we're meeting people, later in life, and you've built your whole life in a way that fits you, and that doesn't stop you from longing for a relationship, but it does take some intentionality, some adjustments, some other considerations to merge people's lives. Whether they got kids and hobbies and businesses and legacies that they've been building, and you want some companionship. So now I'm looking at, like we talked about earlier, like, why do we break up? Now I'm talking about, why are we together? Like, what are we looking for? What are we even looking to accomplish in this relationship? We talked about this in the past. We're not 20, 21-year-olds getting ready to start a life together, get married, buy a house and have kids. Like, that's over. We all sometimes got that at this stage. So now you're meeting and you have years and years and years of assets and friends and memories. And now I meet somebody that seems like an amazing person that I want to try something with. I think that's, for me, again, it's going to take somebody really mature to come in, because I got some lifelong beneficial friendships that are near and dear to me. And for me, at least right now, it's a hard no. I'm not letting those go.
So these friendships that you keep bringing up, were those
man, don't put me on the spot. Don't put me on the spot, man. What you say?
Were those intimate relationships? Because
I've had some relationships with people that ended when I was younger, and I'm talking about 10, 12, 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And y'all remained friends afterwards.
Yeah. Man, I'm a pretty dope guy. So I ain't saying you aren't, but man, guy, bro.
I don't know. I think, and I respect that. I really, really do, because I think that does show emotional maturity. And so I tip my hat to you. That really shows the character, who you are, in a good way. I don't know. For me, if like it didn't work out and I'm on to something new, I'm on to something new. I don't linger back in the past. So it's like, hey, it was a great ride, but the ride is now over.
Yeah.
Wish you the best.
And the thing is, they remained respectful, and we've been full. And when I say it's a true beneficial relationship, it's not like, oh, we just get together, go out to eat, and then go home. Like, we're supporting businesses. We're encouraging on goals. It's that kind of thing. It's like encouragement. So it's real friendships too. So I'm not just talking about these loose little, let's show up and just have fun and get eating and then get a few drinks and then go home. These are true friendships.
So if you met the woman of your dreams, you meet her tomorrow and she says, yo, G, I love you, but you gotta let them go. You are saying that you would stay with the friendships and let the
So let me tell you,
go. Yeah.
So she's not the woman of my dreams if that's what she requires.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's a level, again, of maturity. And when I say, I put in the work myself too. So what I'm asking for and expecting is something that I'm also willing to give. So, when you go through your college and, all the adult education, it's a certain level, a job that you're looking for because of the work you put in, and that's what I'm saying, man. It's that level of maturity and again, everything is not absolute, and we can talk about these things, but what I'm saying is, it's not like it's 10, 12 of them out there, but there are a couple of friends that are true friends.
No, I get you, brother, and I'm not judging. I think it's great that you're able to do that. I again think that speaks to that you're a high quality man. But I tell you, for me, and we're just on different pages here, and that's cool too. For me, my wife's position in my life is a chair. It's not a couch. There's only room for one person. And so,
in that position as a wife, but this is a friendship. This is not the intimacy as a wife. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, you even said initially that, hey, she can't have a bunch of male friends.
Right.
So my point is, I think you're okay in some aspects if you're comfortable with it. If you
Yeah.
can truly,
Yeah.
so essentially, I think
Yeah.
it's the same thing on that.
If he was the homie, from back in the day, but not like if he was.
Them be the ones right there. You better be careful. But hey,
That's true. That's true too. You're right about that.
I see you laughing, Ted, because you're saying I would like to start fights. I got so much to say. It's too much to be typing, but it's too much. Hey, well, we can have the discussion offline, Christy, when you get a chance. Here's another one from Mia. She says some folks have snapped when they are trying to remain friends and think they have a chance when they don't.
Mhm.
Yeah, they can feel misled and might not take it well. Then here comes harassment. You're right, and sometimes they ain't even been misled. It's just what they're hoping and what they're seeing. You could be nice to someone and they take it as flirting. So
Yeah.
I agree with her on that. Hey, let's do this, man. Let's take a quick commercial break, and then after the commercial break, we're gonna come here and hit some more of these comments, and then we're gonna hit a couple topics and end it.
Okay.
With that. All right.
She's breaking through, reaching for the sky with fire in her heart. She'll never be denied. In the face of every challenge, she stands tall. With courage blazing bright, she conquers all. No obstacle can hold her back, no fear can change. She's rewriting the rules, forging her own domain. Through storms and shadows, she finds her light. Her spirit fierce, her dreams take.
Rise and energize her. Rise and energize her. If you're not watching Rise and Energize Her, you're missing some great content, especially as most of it is geared towards women. But I watch it too because I love understanding perspectives that women have with challenges in life. So I think it's good to know. So every
And
Monday,
Tamika is the bomb. Tamika
Oh, yeah.
is wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, but every Monday and Wednesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 o'clock Central time, you got some of our own members from the podcast. You got Ivory and IC on there delivering great content. So tune in, and of course our very own Tamika as well. Rise and Energizer. So what we got down here? You want to hear some another topic before we get to the rest of these questions?
Yeah, I think so. We've talked a lot about emotional security. We touched a little bit on the romantic clarity aspect of, when you're with an ex or trying to remain friends with an ex, you have to question yourself, okay, why do I want to be friends with the ex? Is it because I'm not over them? And can I really be in a different relationship with someone? Now, some people like yourself are able to do that very well. But if you have someone within your peripheral that you used to be close to, it's hard for you to move forward. It's hard for you to say, hey, listen, I don't want to say any names because they may be watching, but I know a couple, they're now divorced. And she moved forward and she got a new boyfriend. And he didn't have a girlfriend. But as soon as she announced that she had a boyfriend, he found a woman to just claim and say that, hey, she's my girlfriend, but he really didn't want her. And he did it just kind of like out of retaliation. Because the reason why we know is because he asked his ex-wife, hey, is it cool if I take another woman to, I think it was a Kevin Hart stand-up comedy routine or something like that. But the deal is that he wasn't clear. He didn't have that break. And so sometimes people need a complete break in order to move forward. They can't be
That's
circling
closely
block.
tied to emotional maturity too. So I mean, it's two topics. We talked about the romantic, but I think that's tied to emotional maturity because again, we're not only talking about how you feel, we're talking about how you react and how you behave too. So again, if you're the 666 guy, you're right, the 6 foot, 6 figures, and the 6-pack, right? So
the 6-pack I'm working on.
but my thing is that people around you, women are going to be attracted to you. But my point is just everybody that you're attracted to don't mean that you got to try to talk to them and be with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's the maturity part that I'm talking about. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And my cousin Trey, he the biggest cowboy hater on the planet. We say, yeah, I still love all my exes. I should have screened this message before I read it. This boy right here is something funny, man. I'm gonna let you take this one from Nisha.
It says an ex shouldn't know more intimate details about everyday life than a current relationship, much less talk about details of the relationship with the ex for sure. Um, I respect that. I do. I'm a clean break type of guy. I like to know when I'm with my lady, there's not an ex that she calls when she needs, help with her car because she
Yeah.
used to date a mechanic, or that kind of thing. I just like to know all of those loose ends have been tied up and we can go forward without any baggage. Um,
So let me ask you
yeah,
this: with that being said, how much do you attribute to taking your time and building that level of trust and dependency on each other, interdependency on each other?
hmm hmm How much time do I take?
Yeah, I mean, how much do you attribute to, like, because it's going to take, you don't meet someone and instantly have that bond that you
Right.
had with friends that you had for years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a hard convincer. So personally, I'm a hard convincer. It
Yeah,
takes
right.
it takes a while.
Sweet
It takes
daddy.
it takes a minute. Oh my gosh, it'd be
Yeah,
like 3 birthdays done passed, and I'll be still looking at you at the side eye. But I do think what you should look for is consistency in behavior and words. Do their words match their behavior? You want someone that does what they say and say what they do,
yeah,
and so are their words matching their efforts over an extended period of time? That bond, that trust, though, it takes a while. It takes a while. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good.
But
Tamika said,
trust is
Brandon's
trust is
living what we call friends and benefits.
yeah.
What's that show, that TV show that was on BET with Lisa Ray and what's Tisha Campbell's husband?
Dwayne Martin.
Yeah, Dwayne Martin. Yeah, where they had the son together. They were living
Yeah.
together, but they were
All of
dating.
us. All
Yeah,
of
yeah,
us.
all of us.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
what Brandon trying to do,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, Candace said he is. So I'm gonna let you take this one from Tamika.
This convo has a bit of a different tone from women. Gerada, I can understand you not wanting to end relationships with your exes for a new relationship. However, huh, I think that it also depends on the connection level of your new relationship. Don't come in.
Come in the door with, you need to
Uh,
end all relationships with exes. Yeah.
okay, I didn't get that last part. Okay, I was like
Yeah.
scrolling. I got
So,
it.
yeah. So she just challenged my thinking. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying there is no absolute way of dealing with it. But
Yeah,
again, those, whether it's family and, we're saying the exes, but, man, a new relationship, it requires a lot. And so I think it's important, as you get later in life, especially to get it right. And, you need to check the box. So I'm not talking about those superficial things, but, I
right.
tell people this all the time. Trust is not a feeling. It's a decision. Now you could talk about the comfort level of trust, and if it's uncomfortable to trust somebody, then we can have that discussion on why it is and unpack why is it uncomfortable to trust. And if it's something that I'm dealing with in my past, again, I don't think it's fair for me to put that burden on my new mate. Like, hey, you just need to not do it or do it because of my past experience, is what I'm saying. So, yeah,
Well, and then also we have to keep in play that everybody has insecurities. Men and women are going to have some type of insecurities, and how careful are we going to be with their insecurities? You know, it could be, yes, okay, let's just say, hey, your new girlfriend, she has an insecurity because you're friends on Facebook with your ex-girlfriend. That's
so
really a
how do those
minor.
insecurities show, though, right? That's the issue.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying that everybody don't have them, but how do
Right.
those insecurities show? Are
Okay.
do they make you controlling? Do they make you angry? Do they lift your anxiety level so high that you're difficult or impossible to deal with? That's what I'm saying. So yes, we do have insecurities because it's human, and I think
Yeah.
it's healthy, But at some point, like, how does those insecurities cause me to behave? And are the insecurities because of my past, and again, or is it because of the behavior of my current mate?
I
That
see.
I think that's my point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if it causes the person to be kind of hostile or difficult to be with, then they may not be the one.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
go get the help and put in the work, or, something. Yeah, man, it's a lot, man, when you're dealing with these relationships.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron said great dialogue. Here's one of the big homies from Texarkana, Ambassador Jimmy Johnson. I appreciate the comment. He said trust and insecurities between new and old relationships need to be measured so you really understand where you're standing between the two relationships. Yeah. So, and I mean, there's no absolutes. You do need to talk about it so you'll know how to move forward, whether that's with that person or without that person. Companionship, I think we're here for it. But again, man, at this point, my divorce, I'm gonna be just transparent with you, Greg. My divorce took a lot out of me, man.
Oh yeah.
And what I learned is that there's not just the divorce, even other relationships. There's some stuff that I overlooked in the beginning. And it seemed cute. Oh, she longed for me. She wanted me around. She only wanted to be with me. And what I learned was like that wasn't healthy. At some point, that you need to be able to regulate yourself outside of my presence and vice versa. So, I just think there's especially if I put in the work, and I just don't want to bring on a project anymore, man.
Breakups are emotionally draining. I think there's very few things in life that are as emotionally draining as relationships, and a divorce, it feels like death. And so that's why we should take as much time as possible to make sure we get in the right person, because the end of a relationship really feels like a death and a new beginning at the same time. And it's so exhausting to try to rebuild yourself back up after a breakup.
Hey, here's one for you right here from Candace. I'm gonna let you take that.
So you mean to tell me you don't get over one by getting up under another? What? I'm just playing, y'all. I am, for real. No, you don't. You just delay the inevitable. You're just pushing pause on some pain when you go and lay up under a new one. Yeah.
But I've heard stories that when they met someone else that they helped them heal, and they've been together forever. So I mean,
no, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. No, it don't happen like that. It has to be some introspection. Now, I do believe good relationships can be healing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you could have met someone who was really kind to you and helps you walk along the journey, but that wasn't because you got a new person. Because that person was therapeutic for you.
Yeah.
You just did a different type of therapy, but you still have to do work.
Come on, man. That was good, bro. Appreciate that word.
I'm not new to this. I'm real to this.
Saved. What'd you say?
I said I'm not new to this. I'm real to this.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Don't save her.
Oh,
like that.
Tamika said she got her book, the book that you wrote.
Great.
Hey, Ambassador Jimmy, Mr. James, I'm gonna get him on the show, man. There was a wealth of knowledge, man. Very spiritual brother, man. And I see some of his interactions with people that he don't agree with. He don't argue. He just got this calmness. Of course, it's through Facebook, so take it with a grain of salt. But I want to get him on here and talk about some of our life's deepest issues. So, hey, I'm gonna reach out to you, brother. See if we can get you on.
Gerard, I got a question to ask you.
What's it? Yeah.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
Okay.
but you've been you blessed us to be transparent and open. So you have friends that you were once intimate with in your life today, and I think that's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to say that's a good or bad thing.
Yeah.
Could you accept that from your new lady? So you have, and you were okay with that?
Yeah.
And that's
Because
fine.
again, man, so there's a couple layers to that.
Okay.
When I said earlier that trust is not a feeling, it's a decision.
Yeah.
I have to decide to trust. If I'm going to be there, when we said earlier, we got to pick a lane. If I'm going to be there, this is something that's important to her. We're going to talk about it, and I want to understand it. Sometimes we're afraid of what we don't understand.
Correct.
If I get in there and I understand it and I'm okay with it, then of course, we're going to set boundaries and understandings and all that. It's like, hey, what are you? So now that you have that friendship, What do you? How do I fit in? I need to know those things, right? Again, these are lifelong friendships. We're meeting later in life, and I don't expect everyone just to drop everything that they had going on or the most important things to them just because I'm here now. I do expect to be considered. But
Right.
now it's like, how do I fit in that space? And then to make the decision on if I want to stay or not, right? So what I don't want to do is get somebody to let what's important to them, let that go, and then end up resenting me later. I
Mhm.
don't want that. So now let's talk about it. Like if it's important to you and I'm important to you, can we coexist? So sometimes we put things at the opposite ends of the spectrum. It's an either or. And it don't always have to be that. We can coexist. But it takes mature people and it takes understanding. It takes to slow down. And, what's that old thing that we say in church? It's not about me, So I hope that answers your question.
Do you find that that's not an issue for you, that the women that you engage with, that they understand your position well and they're okay with it, or do they kind of struggle with understanding your
So
perspective?
I talk to women who, even that I'm not into, we just had a conversation and then they are
Yeah.
okay with that. So,
Yeah.
man, sometimes you just gotta get out the market that you're familiar with.
I
And
got to start hanging out with you.
hey,
That's what
man,
I'm saying.
take you
Like,
places, bro. But you get in these other markets
yeah,
with different people, different
yeah.
mindsets, people who have truly done the work and got a different perspective on life, and
Mhm.
it changes the game. It seriously changes the game, man. It changes you from the inside out when you see somebody else healed, And
Mhm.
sometimes just being around healed people, it just offers different perspective. So I've been around some amazing people, and it's been directly reflecting my own growth, and it ain't just me doing the work myself. It's being around the right people in the right environment too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that's great. I think that's great. And I do. I can't do it. It's not for me, but I respect and I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna get this one for Christy, and then we're gonna a couple more, and we're gonna shut this thing down. If
Okay.
and when I love you, I strongly look at you as a season, reason, blessing, and a lesson. Yeah, yeah. Why the person in your life? We say that all the time. And you said that
Hmm.
earlier. Like you got to look at that, even if it didn't go right. Like what
What did
what?
they teach you?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Tarika said, I could be cordial if I see you, but we probably won't intentionally hang out at the same pace, at the same place at the same time. And again, I'm talking about true friendships. I'm not just talking about just these willy-nilly people that I done met and been with and like, hey, let's stay connected. Nah, sometimes it's best it's over for a reason, but I'm talking about true beneficial friendships with no hidden agendas, looking to me to capitalize off of her at her detriment. Not that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you read. I don't like to read when they boasting about me, so I'll let you read that.
Stop your ish, Gerard, where I totally understand where you're coming from. I don't like leaving situations on bad terms, and I pride myself on being able to be cordial with my exes. We ain't friends, but we are cordial.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take away. I think that you can be respectful. I hope everybody carries themselves with dignity and integrity, no matter who is in or out of their lives. Um, I think I tend to focus on, okay, how is this impacting my next? How is this impacting
That's good.
my next relationship and want to move forward? I tend to be, focused on the here and now more so. So if
Yeah.
anything is threatening my current, I'm willing to get rid of it. It
Yeah.
doesn't serve me anymore. That was in the past.
Man, you made a
Um,
good point too when you said you just gotta consider, like, if I'm in this situation, is that limiting what I could potentially have with someone too? And it
yeah,
could be, so
could
I
be,
think you
could
got to
be.
take all that into account. We're talking that with Brandon, it's going to limit who's going to be willing to engage him or have a relationship with him because of his circumstances, right? It's just the nature
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, yeah. Candace said, absolutely, Greg, a great answer. I agree. I was just playing, though, for real. I'm not sure what she was talking about, but yeah. Hey, here's one for my good friend Manetta. I'll let you take this one.
I think Gregory is saying with the with the fact that these friends know you intimately and you guys remain in each other's lives would cause concern for the new person in your life. And though it's nothing to you, the other person may be uncomfortable with that. 100%. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that. It would be hard for me to know my lady is talking to someone who she considers to be a friend who, knows her in the way that I know her. That's just uncomfortable for me. I don't think I could roll with that.
Well,
Yeah.
she worked with him. Nah, man, we don't gotta get into that. I'll let you finish the comment.
we gotta find you a new job, And so I listen, it
it
could
says
it could be
go ahead.
it could be an insecurity of mine, right? And I'm totally okay with accepting that I don't like my current girlfriend being friends with exes. But yeah, yeah, that's it. Nothing more.
I'll make her your wife, and then you can tell her no, you can't tell her what to feel, but I'll go ahead and continue the second part of Monetta's comment. She says she knows my man on an intimate level, and
Yeah.
he expects me to be okay with that and accept a friendship. You can be emotionally mature and still be uncomfortable with that dynamic, in my opinion. Absolutely. And as you said, a person should know and be able to express what they have the capacity to handle. Absolutely. Definitely
Yeah.
conversation that would have to take place. Yeah. And you know what's crazy sometimes is I recognize in my mind a difference between acknowledgement and we've talked about this before, validation.
Hmm.
Sometimes you're gonna have to acknowledge or even maybe validate, that person important in your life and your commitment to them.
Yeah.
Things people grow and people mature. And again, I'm not talking about how things necessarily make me feel. It's not only my emotions and my feelings if I'm in this relationship. It's also important what she feels and what's important to her as well. So somehow we're gonna have to have this discussion, and then if we choose to stay with it, we're gonna hopefully hammer it out. If not, then like you said, you gotta draw a line in the
Yeah.
sand and go your separate ways. So
Yeah, yeah. You want to make sure your partner does feel secure in the relationship.
yeah.
So whatever that looks like, you
There's
got to
somebody
be
else
able
I
to do
want
it.
to be on the show too, Ladisha, man. She's a wealth of knowledge. She said very mature. Appreciate you tuning in. Miss Mimi
I
said,
wish we could do a poll. How many people think it's okay to be friends with your
hey,
exes?
ask
How
them.
many people think
Tell
that?
them to put in the comments one if you say yes, or just put yes or no in the comments real
There you
quick.
go. Yeah, let us know. Is it okay to be friends with your exes? Yes or no? Just let us
Yeah.
know. We want to, because we're curious.
Yeah. So out there, we got a couple more comments. If they're in the comments, go ahead and put yes or no if you agree that you should or should not be friends with your exes. So we can say, don't do it, Gregory. Gerard gonna have you out here with 100 friends. Hey, if I do, he gonna be on his way to being a millionaire. He already 6 figures. Yeah. But hey, again, I want to reiterate that I'm talking about mature-minded people who truly want the best for you. That's what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
good point, Gregory. I think she was saying good point, Gregory. I agree with Gerard. I think that part got left off. So. Hey, you want to take this one from Mimi?
Sometimes your ex is meant to be your friend from the beginning. That's true. That is so true. So what's wrong with continuing the friendship? That's why it's important to find someone who is on the same level as you. That's how I see it. You're absolutely right. There's sometimes people find out after the intimacy, we were better off friends. And you feel like you losing something because this person could have should have been just a good friend. And now you feel like you have to walk away. But I agree. Sometimes that person should have just been a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I only say if it's hurting your future, you should let it go.
Yeah.
If it's damaging your options, you should let it go.
Yeah. So, hey, Christy said, I'm not going to say the truth because we all will be blocked. I appreciate you for respecting the platform, Christy, not stating the truth. So this is one of the reasons why I say Ladisha, man, she's just a wealth of knowledge and maturity. She said, my ex was the photographer in my wedding. He has since gotten married. We went to their wedding and love his wife. I never wanted my children or grandchildren to have to choose between us. So I push for growth. I honor my current husband, so he has no need to have a concern, nor is he concerned about my interaction with him because he's certain of me.
That's well done. You are a very mature individual. I think when kids are involved, you definitely have to have another level of maturity and remain respectful and cordial. So with kids, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
With kids, you do have to show up as an adult in this situation. So well done. Well done.
Yeah.
That's how it should be done.
And when you're showing up as an adult, man, you got to check those emotions and what I will and won't do, So here's some of the responses. Ladisha says yes. Tamika said no, but she really meant yes. Ladisha said if they respect your present partner, then yes. Tamika changed it, so go ahead and take that one down. Tamika said, yes.
3. People are saying that it is okay to be friends with your ex.
Yeah, Candace said yes for the mature-minded. Nisha said it's up to us as individuals to assess the relationship for our own emotional safety before we enter a relationship. Man, that's good. If an ex is an unhealthy friend, they're unhealthy with or without a relationship. You're right. You're right. So you do have to assess that. So again, when I'm talking friends, I'm talking about now, we all talk about how many friends we got and everybody's a friend. We use that word loosely. I'm talking about in the truest sense of a friend who has your best interest in mind, not their own best interest, but your best interest in mind. And they're willing to, contribute to the health and well-being of your own self. Tiffany said it depends on the level of relationship between the two people and how much was invested. Years have passed and both individuals have grown. Why not be together at that point? But that's, again, just because you're grown don't mean you should be together, and
right.
You end up hating each other. If you know that it didn't work before and you try to spin the block, hey, man, it's not going to work. Manetta said it's a no for me unless there are children involved. So then that's a yes. I'm your friend, my friend. Definitely different if kids are involved.
Yeah, definitely different.
Tariq said that was a yes, as long as they are emotionally mature and not coming with nonsense to mess up my current relationship. And that's what we've been saying in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And Tariq said, I can be friendly. So just real quick, Ivory, she's not on here anymore, but I talked to her earlier, and her ex, her child's father, they have a great working relationship, co-parent relationship. And she said they're even friends. And her ex-husband had issue with that. And she said she was pretty adamant that there was nothing going on between her and the kid's father, that they was together for the betterment of the kids. Right. And that's one of the things I know people choose to stay single until their kids are grown because of the challenges that come with, someone else. So I get it. Again, there's no right or wrong way necessarily. I think the only right way is what actually works for you and all parties involved. So
yeah. When there are kids involved, you definitely need to kind of swallow your pride a few times. And because I think that child deserves quality time with mom and dad. So sometimes mom and dad, they take the child to a park or they go out for a meal or something. And that may be uncomfortable, but it's for the betterment of the child. So you got to swallow your pride sometimes. Like this isn't, they're just there for the kid. They're not for each other.
So this is where we end the show, and IC's not on, but this one Greg get to do the love note and kick us with some closing thoughts and words of inspiration when wrapping up this discussion.
Wow, you're putting me on the spot with this one.
For you, brother.
Okay. Listen, at the end of the day, life is too short to spend it unhappy. We only get one time on this ride. So make sure your choices are feeding you and are nourishing you so that you can be your highest, best self. Get rid of anything that is toxic, support everything that is nourishing you, and leave the people behind that don't want to see you fly. And sometimes that may be an ex who could be a friend. But if that friend is stopping you, is clipping your wings and not allowing you to fly, then they should be left behind. So I
Yeah.
hope that everyone that watched the show tonight ask themselves, not is it right or is it wrong, but ask themselves, what is right for me? Is this person pure of heart? Is this person supportive? Is this person caring? You don't have to agree with me or Gerard, but I hope you found something within yourself that says to you that you have now decided that you're going to operate from a space and do the things that nourish you. Friends are some of the most valuable people that you'll ever meet, and you're blessed if you can have one person at the end of your life that you can say was a real friend. You will have 1,000 acquaintances in life. You will have very few friends. And if you find a friend, they're worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, so get you some ex-friends.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Man, that's good, man. I appreciate that input, Gregory. Man, you always bring the wisdom, man. Your value added without question. And I'll just say this simple. In the Bible it says, "In all you're getting, get some understanding." And a lot of times we're afraid of what we don't understand. And I'm not saying even when you understand it that okay, now that means automatically that you should take it on. You got to count the cost too. What is important to you, and where do you want to go, and what do you need to do to get there? And if that situation is not right for you, hey, the situation is good. The worst thing you can do again is to get in it and then resent being in it later. And likewise, I said it earlier, I don't want to have someone to end friendships based off of my request, because I think you're going to end up resenting that later. And because now it's like, okay, I gave up this. Now what are you going to give up? Now we're jockeying for things that's important for each person to give up. And I just think it can get messy. My thing is, if it don't fit, move on, right? And at the end of the day, I think everybody's going to be better for making that mature decision in the beginning versus later on. So be true to yourself. If you can't take it, if it's not for you, and don't do it because she or he is an amazing woman. So let me go ahead and get in this relationship, and I'll worry about their relationship with their exes later. It's not going to work out. You're going to end up over there, just with a whole lot of heartburn. So, that's it, man. I appreciate you, Gregory. It's always a great discussion when we get together, and we're going to do more of it. The end of the year is coming here. We got some more downtime, so you'll see our faces on here a little bit more, right?
Yeah, and I love that we're getting to the season of faith, and so we should talk, a little bit about faith and the holidays and what does it mean as we New Year's resolution. So we got a lot we can discuss.
Yeah, so we didn't get to talk about it this time, but two topics that I want to hit. One is how to deal with rejection. Yeah. And, a lot of times that keeps people from even trying to get in a relationship from fear of being rejected, and not just relationship. That's friendships, opportunities, promotions at work, asking people for favors. So we got these phobias about being rejected. So we try to handle things on our own when God didn't create or design creation that way. So we're here to support each other. So we're going to unpack that, how to deal with rejection. But also here in the near future, now that the elections are over, now what? Now what? Yeah, and
man, you get me fired
up. Making sure you take care of yourself. There's a lot going on in this world. A lot of people that are angry and emotional, or looking to even trigger you based off your emotions, so that it could be a bad outcome. I just want to remind everybody to take care of yourself, and we're going to bring some resident experts on to tell people some ways to take care of yourself, and not just take care of self, but also help take care of others, because we are a community, and we're only strong as the weakest link. So at the end of the day, politics divides us on a level that nothing else, even more than religion does right now. So I just want to encourage everybody to take a break from the TV, from social media, if you can, if that's what's drawing anxiety out of you. And just remember this one thing, I say this all the time: living life without faith will make you panic. Now it's like, how do I exercise my faith? That faith that we talk about all the time, that I got to have faith in God, and and faith that everything's going to be okay. Now it's time to exercise it. It's been time to exercise it, but especially now. So I'm just encouraging people again to take care of themselves, and we'll be back so we could talk more about that. Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. That was listen, I think that taking care of ourselves, number one, is the best thing we can do, because if we're not good to ourselves, we're definitely not good to others. We can't offer anybody anything. You can't pour out of an empty cup. So make sure that you're definitely taking care of yourself. Take care of your exes if they're still in your life.
I feel like that was a shot at me, but I got them.
Oh my God. I don't know. We're on two different sides of the fence right now on that one, but hey, I respect it. I respect it. I do.
And it might be the link, man, to get you your queen, man. So, hey.
Well, hey, I want to thank everybody for watching us tonight. It is truly our pleasure. We don't do this just because it's fun, but we do this because we hope that we're providing value to you guys. Listen, there aren't many places or platforms out there that you can get some real talk with some real people who really care. And that's what we do right here on the Floor is Yours podcast. This podcast is not our podcast, but it is your podcast. And so we hope every time you listen or watch us, you feel like you are one of the family. Come in, kick your shoes off, and let's mix it up. That's what we're here to do. And hey, if you got ideas about topics you want us to discuss or experts that you would like to see, let us know. We want to hear your feedback. We want to know how we can give you the best service possible and bring you the best show possible. So, hey, whatever topic it is, I know I'm not afraid to talk about it. Gerard's definitely not afraid to talk about it. Let's mix it up. And we want to thank you. We love you very, very much. We thank you guys for supporting us and watching tonight. Don't forget to like, to follow us, and to share this with someone who may be asking the question, should I circle the block and get back with Fred? Let them share this with them and give them some wisdom. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we love you. Peace.
Won't need another, this one here really do it for you.
Baby, the floor is yours. Yeah, baby, I'm on the floor is yours. Baby, come down to the floor is yours. Let me show you how to the floor is yours. 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 The floor is yours.
Now it's my turn.
Next time, see y'all.